This video is a testimonial, and David is kind enough to show the audience what his full face is, and now he's gonna share his experience. But before he share his experience, I'm gonna show the audience what David looked like real quick, and then David gonna start sharing his experience with us. And this is where he was before, very advanced pattern, you know, and this is where him now. But let's start from the beginning. And this is him before. We will lower the hairline and filling the corner in the front, and we'll work our way toward the back. And you can see we had to connect them, otherwise his hairline doesn't look natural. Again, not everybody gonna follow the natural hair loss pattern. Everybody gonna have a different variation. But again, with hair transplant, it's not just about density, it's the artistry. But you see how significant hair loss we had. We gotta fill the front, fill in the mid scalp and the crown as well. And you see, that's where he was. And so now, the stage is all yours. David, can you share their experience from the beginning? How hair loss affected you and your research and why you decide on my clinic?
Absolutely. So hair loss kind of affected me actually at an early age. During the beginning, my youth, I was the typical kid who had the bushy, curly hair. Growing up, I thought, you know, being as an adult, I would have that hairstyle. But up until like 21, 22, 23 years of age, I started noticing every time I took my hat off, I would see hair come down and falling, and it brought a concern to me. Not so much, but then 25 came around, 26 is when I started seeing the receding hairline and the crown back here, and it started to kind of make me feel a little bit insecure. It took the confidence out of me when I would meet someone, or let's say I met someone and, you know, I wanted to kind of talk about myself, you know, just my personality. This hair loss was taking away that image, and I was kind of figuring out, like, how can I get that back? And I started doing some research. There was wigs, there's Bosley, there's all these brands out there. Excuse me. There's all these brands out there that would show on infomercials, and you know, you would typically want to think like, okay, that's gonna work for me. But you know, I took the extra step and I started looking around, mainly around my area, Fresno, what's in the valley that had good ratings. And one platform that I saw good results was on YouTube. You know, you get to see the video results, you get to see the patient, you get to see the reaction. And Dr. Diep had a lot of information on YouTube. And that's how I kind of found out that he can just not only work on crowns, but he can work on the hairline and also other facial features. So that kind of really impressed me. So I kind of compared that to, let's say, like people in LA, you know, and he met those standards. So why drive to LA when I have it here? And he has that type of professional background. So it kind of led to a point where I wanted to go with it. And so I did the consultation, and that kind of opened up a door for me. He told me, hey, you know, we can bring this back. To me, I felt like I was 10 years older. He brought 10 years back, and that's kind of
10 years younger.
Yeah, 10 years younger, and that's kind of the reason why I chose Diep. You know, because of, you know, the healing process of going through that experience of, you know, talking to him. There was an experience where I had some stitching, and I just emailed him, and he replied with an answer, says, hey, don't worry about it. If it happens to be a concern, just come in and we'll take a look at it. That kind of felt a little comforting, so I kind of really liked that. My surgery date was actually October, and coming in early in the morning, they had told me already that it's going to be a long day, so prepare yourself. At first I felt a little scared, you know, but coming in and them welcoming me at 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, they felt like they were ready for me, you know. So I was going in there with confidence. They were going in there with confidence. Yeah, so they prepped me up on the chair. They explained to me what was going to happen. I even brought my grandmother, and they fed her with food as she waited through the process. So yeah, I fell asleep. I woke up maybe 6 hours maybe during the afternoon, and they finished up their work, and I went home. There was no type of pain or anything like that. There was minor swelling, but not too extensive where I needed to go to a hospital or something like that, you know. So,
but you know, even though when you are doing surgery, when you take medicine, your mind perception is probably 3 to 6 hours, but the surgery is 12 to 16 hours.
Oh, no way. So so that was pretty.
So medicine's helpful to make you, you know, forget about the time, and because it's just a long surgery, and the reason why I take long is because I want to make sure I put every single hair graft in there.
Correct.
And there's a lot of detail when it comes to hairline. So so just to explain to the audience that when he's in his mind he thought 6 hours, but the reality is 12 to 16 hours, especially over 4,000 grafts.
Exactly.
I'm sorry to interrupt. So go ahead, continue. Fine. And so after recovery and all the stuff, well, how about the hair? When does it start grow back for you?
So the healing, you know, I started seeing my hair. I started seeing the actual implants in my hair, and I did really good care of kind of not affecting, not bumping into anything, not wearing too much hat, not wearing a hat or anything. But I did wear a hat during the day in case I needed to go to the store or anything like that. But the healing started maybe about 6 months after, and then I started to see the hair actually grow, and it started to match the hair I had on the sides. And that's when I started to really feel positive. I started to feel very secure about what I did, the investment I did, and the excitement. And I kind of wanted to call Dr. Diep and just let him know, hey, you know, check out the results I have. But I kind of wanted to hold back. They told me, hey, you know, your post-op is not within another 6 months. So I was like, hey, you know what, I'll wait another 6 months to see what it looks like. But yeah, that's kind of how the hair growth kind of started taking off. And then it started to look like a mop, and I just had to cut it. I think I cut it maybe 2 or 3 times already. But I made a decision today, or no, after this haircut, I want to kind of grow it out. I really want to grow it out, see how it kind of looks. Just to see what it looks. Let's see.
Any you know, relative, friend, they notice or any comment about
so as soon as after 6 months, they started to see just the hair, right? And maybe about 7 to 8 months, it started to really look thicker. My cousins, they have a difficult time with their hair loss. I know there's twin cousins that I have that they have it they had it worse than I did. And then they saw when I showed up with my hair, and they're actually considering it, and they want to find out how can I connect with Dr. Diep. But I kind of explained to them, like, hey, you need to talk to him now, because there's a huge list of people that are, you know, because I had to wait 6 months to a year until they called me up to do my surgery. So it's how should I say it? It's a long wait for that type of thing. So I would start now.
But you know, I sorry for the long wait, but there's a reason why we have a long wait.
Yes.
Yeah. And you know, it's all about the result.
Exactly.
And so, you know, and you know, being patient is important, because you don't want to rush and not wait for me and then go to another clinic or surgeon and then can get you in within 2 weeks. You have to be careful with that.
There was instances where I would talk to other hair transplanters that they had like machine kind of operated implants. And that type of work kind of scared me at first, because it made me feel like it wouldn't look natural in the end. And you know, I think the only way to get it natural is by doing it by hand.
It's all manual.
Manual basically. And I think that's why it takes a very long time to do.
Yeah, and you know, and I take pride in my work, and this is, every patient is like a plain canvas for me.
I was just gonna connect with that. It's like an art for him, you know.
Yeah. And hair transplant is both art and surgery, and again, one of my greatest satisfaction is to be able to bring back the youth and the handsome look that David had. And you know, bring back his life. It made him happier, you know, with his work and all stuff. And we can do that for the audience viewer, whoever need help. The most important key is that, you know, you don't base the surgery and go to a clinic where it's convenient for you or locally. And that's why David, you know, he's like 2.5 hour drive. I have patients who flew 22 hours from different planets.
Wow.
I mean, on the other side of the planet, like, you know,
Yeah.
Africa, Asia, and those stuff.
Right.
And people are willing to wait for me for a long period of time. It's not because of the price. It's because they say, this is me. It's not a toy. You know, a toy, you can go cheap and you can, if it doesn't work, you throw it
Right.
away. But this is, you're going to be living this for the rest of your life.
For
And you
life.
want to do it right from the beginning, get go.
Mhm.
Because you don't, it's going to be a lot of hassle going to fix thing too, right?
Right.
And
versus-
so then you will find out, say, okay, there's a reason why Dr. Diep had a long wait list. Again, beside the long wait, so we do have a cancellation list too. Once a month we'll call a patient.
Yes.
If someone drop out, then we'll get the patient come in sooner. You know, and be patient. And David here, by watching other client that show their before and after, it really gave him confidence and to say, hey, this really works and I want to do it. And now he's returning the favor and he's on the other side. He's not watching it, he's on the video.
Yes.
And actually, you know, sharing his experience, because by sharing his experience, it's really helpful to the audience to understand how hair loss affected him, or what's the research process and what surgery they like and the recovery. And doing a thorough research is really important.
Up front.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Definitely up front.
You don't want to base on infomercial.
On the TV that they just throw it in your face, you know,
Yeah.
this will work, put a wig, you know, it's like, no.
Or you don't want a McDonald's hair transplant with that cookie cutter
Yeah.
hairline.
Exactly.
You don't want to do that.
No.
I do my custom hairline based on David's facial structure and on everybody's facial structure. So do thorough research, never based on location, never based on price. You got to make sure you read your review. The review is important, but it's still subjective. You want to be able to see the objective stuff, which is watching my work, the before and after, to understand what's my work of art's about, and be able to change David's life and many other patients' life. That brings the greatest satisfaction for me as a surgeon. And thank you for listening and watching my work, and stay tuned. Thank you.